Ecclesiastes.
Moreover, I saw under the sun that in the place of justice, even there was wickedness, and in the place of righteousness, even there was wickedness. I said in my heart, God will judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time for every matter and for every work. I said in my heart with regard to the children of man that God is testing them, that they may see that they themselves are but beasts. For what happens to the children of man and what happens to the beasts is the same. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have the same breath, and man has no advantage over the beasts, for all is vanity. All go to one place. All are from the dust, and to dust all return. Who knows whether the spirit of man goes upward and the spirit of the beast goes down into the earth? So I saw that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his work, for that is his lot. Who can bring him to see what will be after him? Again I saw all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold the tears of the oppressed, and they had no one to comfort them. On the side of their oppressors there was power, and there was no one to comfort them. And I thought the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive. But better than both is he who has not yet been, and has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. Then I saw that all toil and all skill in work come from a man's envy of his neighbor. This also is vanity and a striving after wind. The fool folds his hands and eats his own flesh. Better is a handful of quietness than 2 handsful of toil and a striving after wind. Again I saw vanity under the sun. One person who has no other, either son or brother, yet there is no end to all his toil, and his eyes are never satisfied with riches, so that he never asks, For whom am I toiling and depriving myself of pleasure? This also is vanity and an unhappy business. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. Better was a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who no longer knew how to take advice. For he went from prison to the throne, though in his own kingdom he had been born poor. I saw all the living who move about under the sun, along with that youth who was to stand in the king's place. There was no end of all the people, all of whom he led. Yet those who come later will not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and a striving after wind.
Good morning. Good to see your face. How are you? Good, good. Are you ready to study a really long, really complicated part of the Bible? This is a tough one. Do you want me just to do something simpler? Because I could do like John 10 or something easy, kind of off the cuff. Do we want that? This is a tough passage. This is one of the most difficult passages that I have taught on. What Solomon is saying in Ecclesiastes, the second half of 3 and all of 4, is he's saying the purpose of difficulty is a test. So we view it as, it's bad, give me my Snuggie. And God is saying, it's a test. There's something in it for you. And then God's salve for the difficulty of life, which is presence and also people. To be present with people and to enjoy what God has given you in life. Solomon sees 3 things here in this text. It's a complicated text. Turn to somebody next to you and say, he's going to do his best. He's doing his best. He's doing his best. He sees 3 things. Even in the place of justice, there is wickedness, but it's just a test. And then envy and oppression make life feel empty. But that in and of itself is a mirage. And then people are better than money. It's about presence. This one's good. It's kind of hitting everybody. I think everybody has something in this passage today that can hit you. I'm hoping it does. The passage is really difficult, so I brought some memes of my son to kind of ease the tension. Every time the text gets difficult, I have a meme of my son Julian, and the memes are a picture of him and what he said at the exact moment that I took that picture of him. This one was last Sunday morning. He said, "Dad, I want to get you a cup of water." And I said, "Great." And he brings it to me, and I took a sip of it, and I was like, that tastes like water and something else. And then he said, "Dad, I put syrup in your water." Solomon says this, "I saw under the sun that in the place of justice, even there was wickedness." And isn't that true? Isn't that true that we see that in our world? I read an article about a nonprofit called Feeding Our Future in Minneapolis. They were raising support to feed the poor during the pandemic, specifically children. The people in charge have currently been put on trial for stealing $250 million from the nonprofit in order to buy luxury cars and jewelry, literally taking food and money and resources out of the mouths of people who really need it. And you're just like, man, like, even in the place of justice, like even in the place that you most would expect to see something good, it's like people take another L, like, I wish I didn't see that article, you know? Like, I wish that when I died, I never had heard about that story, because it's so tough. And even in the place of righteousness, even there was wickedness. And has this not been, and I know this is a sensitive topic, has this not been such a part of so many people's stories, including mine, that you go to church and it's supposed to be the place where you feel the most love, but it is the place for many of us where we have our most significant pain in our life. It's been 20 years since the big expose on the Catholic Church and all of the horrible sexual abuse that happened in the Baltimore area. And just in the last 10 days, there was another article about the Catholic Church in Chicago, where I'm from, and all of the hundreds and hundreds of people that have been abused there. It's horrible. It's terrible. I wish I didn't know that information. Even in the place of righteousness, even there was wickedness. So I said in my heart, God will judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time and a matter for every work. He's saying, well, at least God is going to judge everyone. I think most Christians don't really understand what the word judge means. We think it means to like condemn someone or like be rude to them. That's not what it means. The word judge means to declare something is right or wrong. That's all that it means. We judge every day. When you're picking a restaurant after church for lunch, you're judging, you're picking, you're declaring which one is right and which one is wrong. And he's saying here that God is going to judge the righteous and the wicked. A Jewish theologian, Robert Gordis, said that he thinks that this verse is satirical. He thinks that he's making a joke about how ridiculous it is that there's wickedness everywhere in the world. That's pretty dark, huh? You want another meme? Is that the way we're feeling? We're ready for number 2? Would you rather have no legs and no head, or no house and no one likes you? The more you think about it, the harder it is to answer. I said in my heart with regard to the children of man that God is testing them. God is testing us. There is a purpose in pain. There is a purpose in difficulty. If you're an atheist, everything that happens in your life is the roll of the cosmic dice. If you are a Christian, you have a backstop of theological truth to help you live your life. There is a purpose in everything. Remember what it says in chapter 3, for everything there is a time. And it also, in everything, it could be a test. Everything comes from the hand of God. Either he's given it or he's allowed it. This is a beautiful truth to let sink into your life, because if it's true that for everything there is a time, and that the difficult things are a test from God, then we know that we can get through them with him. We know that he has measured them and allowed them for us to bring about ultimate good in the universe. This is a beautiful thing to believe. God's testing them that they may see that they themselves are but beasts. How was church this morning? It was great. They did this song called The Dove. It was like 19 minutes long, and I wished it was longer. It was awesome. That's cool. A guy gave announcements who had a mustache. It was great. That's cool. What else happened? Oh, the pastor said that we're all animals. What? What kind of a church is this? He literally used the word beasts to describe us. For what happens to the children of man and what happens to the beast is the same. That's what he's saying. As one dies, so dies the other. He's saying we're all going to the same place. We're all ending in the same place. Then he says, all go to one place, all are from the dust, and to dust all return. This isn't like some Circle of Life, Lion King, Disney thing, you know. It's not that. It's saying something different. He's saying not man and animals are the same. He's saying that their trajectory is the same, and that man should recognize not that they are the same as animals, but that they are not the same as God, that we are not gods. And this verse is so universally known. It's a part of a reading from the Book of Common Prayer, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. It's in movies. It's been read at millions of funerals all around the world. I love this lyric from this, there's another meme here. If I was an ant and you stepped on me, I'd be dead. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I love this lyric from this Christian pop punk album. He said, "You made a man out of nothing but dust. I don't pretend to be anything more." Solomon's like, who knows whether the spirit of man goes upward and the spirit of the beast goes down into the earth? He's not saying we don't know if there's an afterlife or not. John D. Barry, a theologian, said, this verse is not meant to be a definitive statement concerning what happens after death. Rather, it emphasizes the limitation of human knowledge. He's not saying we don't know in our hearts where we're going. He's saying, do you actually know in your brain what is going to happen? So I saw that there's nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his work, for that is his lot. Who can bring him to see what will happen after him? Who can bring him to see what will happen after him? It's a pretty intense passage, isn't it? Don't worry, I got you. Knock, knock. Who's there? But who? You are a poo. Got me. Again, I saw that all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of the oppressed, they had no one to comfort them. This is like where all the right-wing people are like really uncomfortable in church. So they're like, ooh, I don't like that word. It's dipping into intersectionality. You know, that's not what he's talking about. He's saying what is true for all people, which is that we have observed that people with power tend to use that power not for the good of others, but for the good of themselves. Have we not all seen this? Are we not like a year from everyone freaking out about which president won't do the things they say they're gonna do? You know, and it all gets, you know, are we not like a year away from that again? It's something that we've all seen. We've seen it with homelessness. People use the homeless as a means of gaining resources or gaining office, and then nothing actually ends up happening. Did you know that in one city in America, they housed every single homeless person during the pandemic because they didn't want them to spread the pandemic between each other? And then when they thought it was over, they just sent them back out on the street? It was like, we could do that? Let's keep doing that. That sounds great. It's the same thing with the unborn. It is just a people with power exerting personal gain from people that have no power. That's what oppression is. Women and children that are in abusive homes, it's horrible. It's awful. The world is awful. On the side of their oppressors, there was power, and there was no one to comfort them. And so I thought, here's his conclusion, as if it wasn't dark enough. I thought the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive. This is like after you watch like news-based YouTube videos all night. You're like, I totally resonate with this verse. You're on like a TikTok rabbit hole for like 2 hours, and you're just like, It's true though. The world is a terrible place. It's horrible how power is exerted over people to hurt them, to frustrate them, to wound them. But better than both is he who has not yet been and has not seen the evil deeds that are under the sun. He's like, the best of all is the people who haven't yet been born, your grandkids. Why? Because they don't know how horrible human people actually are. Aren't you glad you came to church today? What a blessing. There is joy in the house of the Lord. There is joy in... And there is, and part of joy is facing what is actually real and then choosing to rejoice anyway. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. When you come to church, don't act like your life isn't difficult. Hold all of your difficulty, give all of it to Jesus, and then rejoice in the fact that he will carry it for you. Don't put on a smile if you're not happy. You don't need to. You can cry in church. You don't need to be in a good spot. You don't need to look good. You know, my wife dresses me. I would not look good if it wasn't for her. You don't need to look good. You don't need to be in a good place. You know, you don't. That's reality. And that's the beauty of the Psalms and the books of wisdom, is that they're looking at life the way it actually is and saying, isn't it really hard? But isn't God really good? Because he is. He is. And making that shift and being honest about where you're at is a really incredibly powerful thing. And then this one. I saw that all toil and all skill and work come from a man's envy of his neighbor. This also is vanity. Remember, that word means emptiness, and a striving after wind. Remember, that's the repeating phrase, running after something that you can't quite grab. This is extremely common in the world and also in Christianity. People who are obsessed with what other people have and don't have and how they can get those things so people can view them in a certain way, or the brand that you have that you're wearing that you post on Instagram, it's like a $700 belt with like a little buckle on it, so you tuck your pants in so that people can see the logo, and you're like, I think my belt holds up my pants and it cost $18. Like, it's obvious what you're doing. You're projecting something because you want to feel something. And so it's this cycle of nothingness and emptiness. You guys are like, where do you think we're from? Scottsdale? He's like, don't let envy fuel your work. Let worship fuel your work. Don't work so that people will look at you and be like, look at your house, look at your things, look at your stuff, and have nice things. I think nice things are great. I rejoice in that. If you have a beautiful house, that's fantastic, you know? But don't have it so that people look at you Have it so that you can worship God with it. It's a much more satisfying thing. It really is. The fool folds his hands and eats his own flesh. It's one of the best cannibalism verses in the whole Bible, top 5 for sure. Better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after wind. He's saying, enjoy your work, rejoice in your work, but don't think that your work is the thing that's going to satisfy you with money and resources. Job chapter 3 and Jeremiah chapter 20 have similar themes. Now he's going to say 3 things that he has seen. He's going to finish out our passage for today by saying 3 things that he has seen. I saw vanity under the sun. One person who has no one, either son or brother, yet there's no end to all his toil. He's making a pitch here for what is the thing that God has given us to satisfy this emptiness, and it is presence and people. He's saying somebody has no one and they just keep working. His eyes are never satisfied with riches, so that he never asks, for whom am I toiling and depriving myself of pleasure? This also is vanity and an unhappy business. And isn't he right? Men, women, if you work and you don't have anyone to share your resources with, wouldn't you rather just not do it? That's what he's saying. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. This is so true. Is it not? Man, the world makes the height of love, romance, and affection, but it really isn't. The height of romance is commitment and enjoyment of achieving goals with another person, is it not? It is so much better. It just doesn't sell as easily. 2 are better than 1. Men, that would have been a really great time for you to say, like, amen. Your wife would have loved that. I set you up, missed it. Incredibly common Christian man L. Man. It's too late. It's too late. Nice try, though. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who's alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. He's saying that God's salve is presence and people. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. It's not wrong. But how can one keep warm alone? See, he's wrong there. They have this thing called heated blankets now. And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A 3-fold cord is not easily broken. He's saying that a salve for the difficulty of life is deep camaraderie and friendship. Isn't it? Isn't that such an amazing thing that God has given to us, each other? And is not deep friendship with another person such a beautiful thing to help us navigate this incredibly difficult life? A 3-fold cord is not easily broken. The idea is the more people that are in a committed, deep friendship, the more that they can withstand together. And that's true, and that's recognized by Christians and non-Christians. Go to therapy, you probably need it. I certainly do. And when you get there, do you know what they're gonna say to you? Do you have a support network? That's what an atheist is gonna say to you. That's what a Christian therapist is gonna say to you. They're gonna say, who is around you to support you? Why? Because they have recognized that what Solomon was saying is true, which is that God has given us an antidote to the difficulty of life, which is a deep love and camaraderie and friendship with other people. Better was a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who no longer knew how to take advice. For he went from prison to the throne, though in his own kingdom he had been poor. He kind of sounds like he's talking about himself or telling a tale about how he feels now, and he's so old and so like depressed and so like out of gas. It's like he's looking back and saying like, what was the point? I saw all the living who move about under the sun, along with the youth that was to stand in the king's place. Here's the last verse we're going to look at today. There was no end of all the people, all of whom he led, yet those who come later will not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and a striving after wind. Now what he's saying is really negative, but it's really true, and there's something really beautiful in it. So he's saying that one of God's antidotes for the difficulty of life is people. Now he's saying the other antidote for God's antidote for the difficulty of life is presence, is being present in your life. Do you see what he's saying here? He's saying if you work all of your life for like how you will be remembered, people won't remember you. They won't. Your life is about your life. Like your kids will remember you, right? But like, do you know your great-grandfather's name? And I'm not even saying that rudely or pejoratively. Like he's saying, live your life for the present. Enjoy your life in the present, for this is the gift of God. There's something really beautiful in that. It's Sunday, June 4th, 2023. Enjoy today. Enjoy today with your friends and family and with God. Enjoy the life that God has given to you. It's the mystery of life. This is the icon from chapter 3, that God has put eternity into our hearts, but so that we don't understand it. He's asking some of the biggest questions in the world. And when you read Ecclesiastes over and over and over again, you start to see that the questions that he's asking can only be answered in God. That God has pre-baked, pre-wired into all of us questions and longings that can only be satisfied in him. And when you spend your life trying to satisfy those things like Solomon did, you will feel empty. But when you spend your life letting God satisfy and answer those questions, you will find the fullness of life. Solomon is saying life is empty, but God isn't. So here's the three things that we talked about. There you go. That was it. Those were the things. That was the sermon, kind of. He's saying presence is God's salve and people are God's salve. That's what he's going for. Now, I'm looking out at your faces and it just seems like you want more Julian memes. Is that the read I'm getting? People are like, stop teaching from the Bible and show me more memes. This is why I've come to church today. Okay, I got three more for you. Dad, you have a skeleton in you. He's right, but I've never thought about it that way. The monkey at the zoo kept throwing up and eating his throw up. I'm going to save this seed so I can plant it in our yard and grow a popcorn tree. I said this morning, Julian, I'm going to show some memes of you at church. Is that okay? And he was like, yes. And he's still in his pajamas, and he just starts walking out to the car with me. And I was like, no, you stay here, and you're going to come with Mom in a little bit. And he was like, you said I'm going to be in your sermon. I was like, yeah, pictures of you, not actually you. We have some special guests coming to church this summer. Here are some guests we have. I'm very excited that we're going to be having our very own Pastor Joel come back and join us. Very excited about that. We have Eugene and Steve, two friends of the church. We've got the king, Jordan Corpus himself. And then I have two friends that I would like to introduce you to. This is my friend, Pastor Nuno. He's a pastor in Lisbon, Portugal. He's the pastor of one of the largest churches in all of Europe, and he's going to be coming here all the way overseas with one of his worship leaders, and they're going to be joining us, and I can't wait for you to, he speaks 2 languages. He's brilliant. I cannot wait for you to hear from him and be able to greet him after the service. And this is my wife, Bree, and I's friend, Layla. She's from Australia, and she is a firecracker, and she's as Pentecostal as it gets. So it is going to be a 2, 3, 4-hour service minimum. Everyone's getting rebaptized, and we're passing the plate 4 or 5 times that service. That's how they do it at Pentecostal churches. They go back and they count, and then they give a thumbs down to the pastor if it's not enough, and he goes, hey, repass. I feel the Lord telling me we need to repass. And so I'm very excited for her to be with us here. She is wonderful. I'm not giving you the dates because someone told me that you guys have the naughty habit of sometimes showing up for the person you like the most. Shame. Shame on you. Naughty. Don't do that. I say that, but if Matt Chandler or somebody was at a church nearby, I would totally go and then never go back. So, there you go. Sermon's over. Just kidding, it's not. Here's the last point. When you choose to rejoice in pain with your people in God's place and presence, you experience his peace. And this is one of the overarching amalgamations of what Solomon is talking about in Ecclesiastes. It's really true. It's really true that life is difficult and that God allows pain into our lives, isn't it? It's really true. And you can build your case and make that proof that you think God doesn't love you, but you're wrong. Or you can let the pain shape you. You can let the pain bring you closer to the people that God has given to you. You can let the pain bring you to God's place. Please, on your worst Sunday morning, don't stay home. Come here with us. We love you. We're happy that you're here. Come to God's place. Come to God's place. There is nothing better than the presence of God. There is nothing better than the presence of God. I wish we had 15 services today. I love sitting in the presence of God, don't you? And God brings us to places in our life where we have pain so that we can come to his place, grow closer with our people, and be in his presence and experience his peace. And so we're going to sing about that right now. And I would encourage you to stay and to sing the song and to rejoice with us in what God is doing in our church.